Here is a component showing up in the browser. This is the top level component. You will always have a top level component there. It may have the stack of bricks icon like this one, indicating it's already an assembly, or it could be the single block, indicating you're just in a single component, part file, if you will. I have to be careful there because they're all the same file structure, whether it's an assembly or a single component. It's not like Inventor or SolidWorks with separate part files, assembly files. It's just a design file. In fact, there's another component. That one is just a single component. If you want to call it a part, I'm not going to stop you. Here's a sub-assembly, and I've got parts down within that. More importantly, within that part, right now it's pointing at axle, I have bodies. So a folder just for the bodies. These were all expanded. The little arrows on the left-hand side could be used to collapse these so it's a little more clean, but I wanted to show it fully expanded here. So let's take a look over in the actual design tool. All right, so here I am. This is probably the way I would approach it back at the beginning. I didn't know about Rule 1, so I just started a new design and call it caster all bodies. There's a hint. There's no components here other than the top one. And here's all the bodies that I made. Now, these can be renamed. I'm a big fan, no matter what software I'm using. I try and rename things. Specifically, Inventor and Fusion both let me rename bodies and stuff. And that's the way I approached it. And I said, oh, you know what? I want that wheel to spin. No, can't make relative motion between bodies. They have to be separate components. And down here on the timeline, you can see how I went about making with the various sketches and patterns and extrusions and revolves and fillets and chamfers and so on and so on. But those are all just affecting the bodies. Okay. Well, the software does have a tool for taking bodies and making them into components. In fact, the button for making a new component right there, I could make it from a body. And that's great, except for all those same sketches and extrusions and patterns and fillets, etc., still belong to the top level component. Not one of these extrusions belongs to that caster body. It's just here the body was made into a component. The benefit, I can now make a joint between them. The downside, it's still annoying trying to figure out what it is I need to go and edit if I want to make a change. Therefore, I should have from the very beginning started using Rule 1 and start a new design file and immediately come and hit the new component and start working in that new component. Here you can see if I look at the caster body component and I activate it, that's what the little circle does. As soon as I click inside there, it looks like a bullseye now. And everything else goes transparent. And I only see the features that were used to make the caster body. If I were to activate the swivel axle, it now is full color, everything else is see-through, and I only see the features that make up the caster body, or sorry, the swivel axle this time, and so on, and so on, and so on. In fact, if I was to go and make this a brand new design, maybe even before I name this, first thing I could do is say, let's make a new component. They start you off calling it component 1. It gets activated right away. And there I am. I'm working in component 1. If I start making a sketch and I go and start a very simple brick, not worrying about the size, I'm just trying to quickly make something. Here we go. And then I would go and make another. I activated the top level component, another new component, brilliant name, component 2, said okay. And that sketch would have its own pieces. Now I can put a sketch plane on my other part, but it is a separate component. If I were to go back and make the top level active again, clicking on the little circle so that the bullseye is there, very important. Keep an eye on that. You can see from the color swatches down here, anything that's green goes with the top. Okay, there we go. Component was made. That's the only thing that happened there. Component was made. That was the only thing that happened there. Component 1, that's got orange. Oh, that's what I did in component 1. Component 2, that's a dark blue. There we go. Those color swatches. Over in the far bottom right-hand corner, there's an options gear there. And I turned on component color swatch. You may not have that on yet. Yours may not show those colors on the bars. It may not show the colors down on the timeline. Honestly, I just turn it on and leave it on. It stays on by itself and it gives me that look. In fact, if I really want to, what I can do is come up to the inspect drop down and say, hey, show those components in their colors. Oh, gee, the orangish is the brick and the bluish is the cylinder. Or if I go back over to my Rule 1 version, oh, that wasn't the Rule 1 version. Let me go and close this one because I'm not going to use it anymore. There's the all bodies. Ooh, doesn't work. By the way, you've got what? I think it's 8 colors you can choose from. They always look like my granddaughter's driveway chalk colors. There we go. And if I were to expand that subassembly, you can see the different colors going on there too. And if I swing around so you could see it, yep, we got some different colors going on inside there. Handy if you're checking to see what's a different component. Honestly, I think this is great if you're teaching somebody else how to run Fusion and to use different colors. Turn that on. Otherwise, I'll run with reality as best I know it.